Nyumba Kumi as an idea is great, but what Nyumba Kumi did is to divert attention from a constitutional and legal requirement by the National Police Service to establish community policing. Community policing was supposed to transform the National Police Service in its values, its attitudes, its practices. Nyumba Kumi was being implemented at a national government administration officers, and therefore the police were out of that mix. And so they became bystanders. They watched as the game was played around Nyumba Kumi. The other issue about community policing was the failure to provide adequate resources, the suspicion between the public and the police not taking leadership to implement this. There are also vested interests in a good number of areas based on the experience of especially civil society organizations that have implemented community policing. The question that we are asked by the county commissioner, the chief, and others is, what is the fate of Nyumba Kumi if you implement community policing? And in my opinion, it's an issue of who has the power and control over what, not whether wananchi are benefiting. There are a few sort of achievements we've made in community policing. Number one, in 2017, the Inspector General gazetted the National Police Service Community Policing Information Booklet, or guidelines, with a rallying call of building safer communities together. And that initiative was supported by a number of organizations also in this particular room, including members of the Police Reforms Working Group Kenya. The establishment of community policing committees in a number of police stations using these guidelines have actually shown that the concerns of national government administration, the concerns of the chiefs and county commissioners might be unfounded. In a number of police stations, using these guidelines, we have seen a community policing committee comprising of the chief, Nyumba Kumi, peace committees, women, youth, name them. Everybody is included in these particular guidelines, led by the OCS of that particular jurisdiction. And we are seeing that work quite well, and so we do believe that maybe we need to give more effort in that direction. With regard to operational independence and professionalism, operational independence becomes a critical pillar for transforming the National Police Service, helping the police to strategize as a professional service without the encumbrances of political interests or business interests, as we all know. We are coming from a history of what the police have been accused of, regime policing, instead of focusing on guaranteeing human rights, fundamental freedoms, rule of law, and public safety and security. We all know that the administration police have been an appendage of the national government administration, also known as provincial administration in the past. We all know that our police service has no independent budget. I hope you do know that. The police service is treated as a program of the Department of Interior. And therefore, there's a bit of a difficulty there. And this is one area that the National Dialogue Conference need to consider, because it's one of the most difficult areas to deal with. That this is the space for rent seeking. I'm trying to sanitize this. Rent seeking, yeah? Procurement issues are preventing the police from having their independent budget vote. So it's important that we free them from that rent-seeking platform. I think by now we know that unless we take care of the welfare of our police officers and treat them as professionals in their own right, we won't go very far. Some of the issues around this is police housing. And there are several studies that have been carried out around police housing, one of them by Transparency International, and the other by the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. And they indicate that we are doing very bad. That the deficit on police housing is over 70%. And the 30% is described as officers housed in deplorable and dignified structures, police officers sharing uni-huts, 3 families in one particular unit, mud-walled, iron sheet roofed, old and condemned buildings, dilapidated buildings across the country. And I started to be corrected by you. I was reading this research, but you can tell me whether that is the picture in your villages and towns. So I'll stop there and say that as we move forward, there has been a process going on under the Ministry of Interior from April this year, that there will be a conference on Thursday where the President will come and launch the new police reforms priority areas. We do hope that some of these issues will be addressed, but let's not relax because of that conference. Let's engage and be prepared to present our proposals. Thank you very much.